Hi everyone, welcome to Not to Be a Hater. Today is episode 5 of the podcast and it's my solo episode. I'm flying solo today because Ryan is jet setting off on holiday in Spain. So I am here alone today and I've got some really exciting topics to talk about, so let's just jump straight in. So the first thing that I need to talk about is Taylor Swift's new album. The Tortured Poets Department came out a few days ago, and my god, what an event it was. So the album came out at 5 a.m. in the UK. And I was sleeping because I went to bed late, so I was like, I'm just going to sleep in. I'll listen to it after. I wake up whenever that is, whatever. Doesn't matter. I don't need to listen to it as soon as it comes out. So I wake up, I check my phone. I'm like, okay, so the album came out like 4 hours ago or whatever. And I see a notification that she dropped a deluxe version of the album 2 hours after it came out, so at 7 a.m. I was like, what the fuck happened while I was sleeping? What is this? So basically, if you're not aware, so Taylor Swift had a new album coming out on Friday that had 16 songs, and it's called The Tortured Poets Department, and it was kind of expected to be quite, sad, poetic, kind of folklore vibes. And from what I heard, people started listening to it and they were like, oh my god, this is Midnights, this is so poppy, this is like not what we expected. And then 2 hours later, the second part of the album essentially came out, the anthology, and it had 15 tracks that were just like folklore. They were so sad, so poetic, so beautiful. So that was really exciting on Friday that happened. And I mean, for an artist to come out with 31 songs, over 2 hours of music, that's insane. That is so impressive. And like it's an amazing album, really. From start to finish, it's I wouldn't say it's Taylor's best work, but that's just because I am very partial to Midnights and to Evermore. So I can't really say that this is my favourite yet. But I do really appreciate it. And I'm loving some of the songs. I listened to Who's Afraid of Little Me and I cried immediately. And I listened to it again and I cried again. So it was very beautiful. And there was just like, there's so many good songs on the album. There's a few that I'm not the biggest fan of, and there's some interesting drama going on about how the album is apparently about Matty Healy from the 1975, which I'm not super pleased about because I don't really like him too much. It doesn't really take away from the album for me. And I mean, it's a bop. It's a frickin' bop. It's very good. And I'm just really excited to be listening to it all the time and learning all the lyrics and kind of discovering new moments in the songs, and it's amazing. And we'll probably talk about this more when Ryan's back, because he did try to listen to it at least, and he's being a hater, of course. He's not loving it, and I think that is stupid because he's just not trying and he's hating for no reason. So we'll probably have a debate about that on the next episode, to be honest. But yeah, my review of it so far is it's a really good album. It's very, very strong, sonically, lyrically. It's really interesting. It's for the fans, I would say, because there's so many like, nods to different things in the Taylor Swift universe that a casual listener might not be able to pick up on. It's so fun for the fans to hear and be like, oh my god, she's talking about this. Or, oh, that intro sounds a bit like this other song. Could it be about the same topic, about the same themes? So I'm enjoying it. I'm loving that. Excited to just keep loving the album some more and to see what else Taylor gets up to. So I thought I would give you guys an update on Rhode. Yet again, I think this is like the 4th update we've had on the podcast so far. But I placed another order recently and I got the phone case, the famous Rhode phone case. And it's fun. It's so silly. I've not used it properly yet because that boy is chunky. It is such a thick phone case, but it's so fun to have. I understand the hype. I get why people like it so much. And it's just such a cool piece to have. So I thought I would just let you guys know I got that. I got a few other of the lip balms as well and stuff because I am really enjoying them. But the phone case, it's so fun. I do really like it. And I mean, it's just people are still talking about it. It's great marketing for Rhode. Really, they did a good job with that. The marketing minds up there. Oh, they're doing a good job. And speaking of that, it was April Fool's Day a few weeks ago, and Heinz came out with a Heinz phone case that is kind of taking inspiration from the Rode phone case. And I thought it was so funny. I think there was a few like April Fool's campaigns that I came across, and I think that was the best one. It was so funny. And it looks really good as well. I think genuinely if they sold it, people would definitely buy it. People would enjoy it. It looked really cool. It looked like Rhode's sister, essentially. You know, it's a red phone case. It's got a little slot for a ketchup packet. And it was so cool. Like they really committed to it, and I applaud that. I thought that was really fun of them. Heinz did good. And I mean, it's fun like seeing a big brand like Heinz, who have been around for so long, sort of play into modern trends, like things that are current and contemporary to their audiences, and just like have fun with it, you know? Ketchup doesn't have to be serious. And they know that. They knew that. So they made a phone case that holds ketchup for you. How fun is that? I loved it. I thought it was really cool. I want to hear what you guys have to say about it as well, or if you've seen any other like cool April Fool's campaigns, because I think that one definitely stood out for me. Another campaign that stood out to me, it was from a few weeks ago, I think, possibly March, so like a month ago. But it was a Specsavers PR stunt with a van. I don't know if you guys saw this, but I thought that was so clever. I saw it all over LinkedIn, all over Instagram, of this Specsavers van that had parked on like one of those poles that go up. So you're not allowed to park on them, obviously, because your car will get stuck. And they'd parked on it, and it had like got the van stuck up high, and people were like, "Oh my god!" And their slogan is, "Oh, you should have gone to Specsavers. Maybe they should have gone to Specsavers." And then a few days later, Specsavers came out, and they were like, "We've heard everyone's talking about this van, and we just want to let you guys know that it was us who planned it. We planned this all, and we got your attention. So go to Specsavers." And I thought that was so fun. I think it was in Edinburgh that it happened as well, so quite local to us. And it was just, yeah, such a fun campaign. And again, a brand that doesn't take themselves too seriously, which is really nice to see. I also want to quickly talk about the British Airways campaign that came out recently. I really enjoy it. So, to give you some context, it's a series of billboards, out of home billboards, that are sort of snapshots of zoomed in passengers in British Airways planes. And you don't really see a logo. You kind of see that it says British Airways, but it's just these characters that are sort of so happy to be on holiday. And it's been getting a lot of praise online for the creative direction of it. And I thought it was so good. I came across it and it genuinely like kind of stopped me in my tracks, which not a lot of advertising campaigns do. But I thought it was so interesting. I thought it was so cool. A few days later, EasyJet sort of jumped on it as well, and they had billboards next to the British Airways ones with like the same thing, but it was an EasyJet plane, which I thought I like that sort of rivalry between brands, and I'd like Pepsi and Coke do stuff like that all the time. So it was fun to see these sort of airplane brands or companies kind of doing it as well. But British Airways, they did so good with the creative direction of that. That's a campaign I'm going to be coming back to because it's so simple but so effective. I mean, to not even have your brand logo really on a billboard, have it cut off, and just have sort of pure emotion of someone showing how happy they are to be on holiday or wherever they're flying with British Airways. I thought it was fantastic. British Airways did a really good job of that. That's another campaign that really stood out to me in the past few weeks. So Props to British Airways for innovating and being cool and doing a good job. And while we're talking about billboards, I want to quickly mention the awesome billboards that we've seen for Coachella recently. So I think weekend two has just ended. So Coachella is over for the year. But it was a buzz this year. Honestly, everyone was talking about it. And before Coachella started, before weekend one, there were some awesome billboards everywhere. And Sabrina Carpenter's one really stood out to me, where it was just a funny play on words of making people come. And it was like, come to my Coachella set or whatever it was. It was so funny, so clever. And it was just like, again, fun. Things are allowed to be fun. And I loved that for her. Lana Del Rey had a cool one as well. It was kind of a callback to her bad SNL performance from many, many years ago. So that was very cool. Tyler the Creator had a cool one, talking about wanting to see people's faces at the show instead of their phones. So that was quite cool. I think Ryan actually made a post talking about all of these billboards on his Instagram. But they were just so cool, so creative. And I just don't think I've seen like a music festival do billboards like that before. And I know it's the individual artists who did it, but just, I mean, the publicity for Coachella from that was amazing. And just everyone talking about Coachella recently on TikTok, on Instagram, everyone that I knew in real life was talking about how much they wanted to go to Coachella and starting to plan and save up to go next year. So I think those billboards were probably part of it, but the overall hype of Coachella, just online, all the discourse about it, it's really made people want to go. And I think that's really cool. It's so effective. It's just that one thing every year that people just really want to go to. And it's kind of attainable. It's, regular people are able to go to it. But it's also such a luxury and such a expensive experience to go to that not everyone can afford to do it. So it's that exclusivity as well. And there were so many celebrities that attended. I mean, Taylor Swift was there, Taylor Swift and Travis. I heard Beyonce was possibly there as well backstage. But it was just really cool. And I watched some of Lana's set from the first weekend. And I mean, I don't think Lana's the best live singer, but it was really cool seeing her on such a big stage, commanding such a big crowd, and just kind of having fun on stage. That was nice. I want to quickly talk about a marketing trend that I've seen cropping up recently, and it's brand wallpapers. Just random brands coming with wallpapers for phones and laptops, whatever, like screensavers, home screens, whatever. And it's like all branded. And I've been finding this so interesting because I've heard about this for a while and I've seen it about, but more and more brands are doing it. And it's such an interesting form of marketing because it's something that your audience and your consumers are able to use, and it looks nice, it's fun, whatever. But every time they look at their phone, they're now reminded of your brand. And I think that's insane. That's some great marketing, whoever kind of started it. Bagu have been doing wallpapers of their prints of their bags for years now. And they have, all different versions for your phone, for your tablet or laptop, all of these things. And then recently I saw Glossier, who's like one of my favorite makeup brands. They also started doing it. I got an email and it had like a wallpaper that you could save, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I saw Rare Beauty also started doing it, and it was quite heavily branded. So I'm just really interested in this marketing trend that's sort of cropping up and what it means for brands. And it's a cool aspect of marketing. It's something that can be quite fun for marketers because you're not necessarily, pushing a product. It's a brand move. You're pushing your brand more than anything else, and I think that's quite cool. So that's a cool marketing trend that I've picked up on recently. And if you guys have any thoughts on it, like, let us know. The other day I came across a really cool brand launch that is coming soon, and it's Charles Leclerc's ice cream gelato brand, and I was so fascinated by this. I saw a TikTok about this initially, about someone talking about the branding of it, and I also wanted to tell you guys I'm slowly kind of getting into F1, Formula One. I'm really interested in the whole world of that. There's so much interesting business that goes on, and there's so much money behind it, and the marketing, it's insane, honestly. And we could probably talk about that another time. But today I want to talk about this new gelato brand because it's a race car driver, it's an F1 driver who is launching an ice cream brand that is low calorie, high in protein, is a real gelato, not just an ice cream, and tastes amazing, supposedly. And on top of that, the branding is fucking amazing. It's so good. I think whoever did the branding, whoever's doing the marketing for them, is doing a great job. The brand is called Lec, so Charles Leclerc, and it's kind of playing on that, his surname, but also like licking ice cream, Lec. And the branding is so fun. It's very retro, but also modern. It's kind of reminiscent of the Burger King rebrand with those sort of muted but bright colors and nice shapes. But honestly, it's looking so good. I follow them on Instagram to sort of keep up with what posts they're doing. But even all the videos are so fun, and it has Charles in them, and he's just showing off the ice cream and stuff. But so far, they seem like a really cool brand, and I think they could really skyrocket in the next few months. I think they're only going to be sold in Europe for now, but once they go global, like, I think it could be a staple ice cream brand in superstores because it's just so cool. It's so innovative, first of all, to have a gelato that is high in protein, low in calories, which makes sense for him because obviously he's an athlete, so he needs his protein. But it's also very appealing to a lot of customers, doing lower calorie, higher protein, so it's a bit healthier, feels a bit better, but you're still getting that indulgence and the flavor and the beautiful taste of gelato. And I think there's quite a large selection that they've come out with of different flavors, so that's really exciting. For me as a marketer, it was the branding that really caught my eye, and I think it's amazing. And I mean, I want to see more brands do cool things like that. And for a brand launch to be so strong that it catches your eye before the product is even out, I think that is insane and just amazing. So keep an eye out on that brand as well. And yeah, I'm going to keep up with what they're doing because I think it seems really cool. So the last thing that I want to talk about today is Zendaya. That girl has been everywhere recently. She is just honestly everywhere. Everyone's talking about her. She is doing amazing things. She is slaying. She is serving. She's doing the thing. But I want to specifically talk about her amazing theme dressing that she's been doing recently on her presser for the film Challengers. And obviously she was doing the Dune Part 2 press tour a few months ago, and we talked about that on the podcast already, and how much I was sort of in love with the looks that she was doing for that. And for Challengers, oh my god, she has been pulling out looks. So Challengers, if you don't know, is a film about tennis players. So she was just putting out these amazing tennis inspired looks, and they were so exciting. She was doing like 3 different looks a day for different interviews, for different photo calls, and she looked so good. She looked amazing. Everyone was talking about her. She was doing an amazing job with it. And it really sparked a lot of conversation about theme dressing and celebrities doing theme dressing. And there was a few outfits that she did for this press tour where it wasn't necessarily theme dressing, it was just like a nice outfit. And people would be like, oh my god, it's not on theme. And it's like, well, she doesn't need to be on theme all the time. So I think it's really set a new precedent of actors dressing on theme for their film. And I think that's really interesting. And it's something that Zendaya really has started. And she's talked about, I think recently, even in her Vogue interview, that she kind of started that for The Greatest Showman a few years ago, where she was sort of dressing up to the theme of the film and different elements that she enjoyed from the film. And she's been doing that since, for Spider-Man, she did a lot of spider webby superhero themed outfits. For Dune, she's been amazing. She's been just really taking inspiration from every aspect of those films and turning them into beautiful looks. And for Challengers, oh my god, she wore this outfit where she had heels that had tennis balls on them. It was insane. It was so cool. She's just been wearing a lot of tennis whites and she's looking amazing. It's exciting. It's getting people excited for movies as well, which I love to see. And also the film itself, I saw a preview screening of it yesterday before it comes out in the next few days. And I loved it. It was so good. I mean, it's a very different role for her. She's a really bad person in it, to be honest. And she slayed. She served, and it was great seeing her in a more adult role. I really enjoyed that. And everyone else in the film as well. Josh O'Connor, Mick Feist, I thought they were amazing. And Luca Guadagnino, the director, I worship him. I think he is one of the best working directors at the moment. And I love the film. And I love everyone talking about it recently with Zendaya's looks. And I love how everyone loves Zendaya recently. I am obsessed. I love it very much. So that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope it wasn't too boring with just me. Ryan will be back for the next episode, hopefully. So, yeah, thank you so much for being here today and for listening. I hope the topics were exciting, and as always, make sure to follow our Instagram and leave us some thoughts about what you thought about this episode and about different campaigns that you've been seeing, or just anything that we talked about today, that I talked about today. So yeah, thank you guys, and see you next time. Bye!